to kind of warm up, how about talking about my trip?
Yeah, I'd love to hear how you got on, what the food was like. Did you have better weather than Korea?
Okay.
Did you see anything interesting?
Okay. I'm worried that I haven't written anything down because after I hear about the word spontaneity or being spontaneous, I think I better try that one in the future. There's a word, homesick. I feel homesick. Okay. Now I'm in the state of being Bali sick.
Bali sick, okay.
You told me just before that it's very hard to adjust myself to being back from the trip, but that hasn't really happened to me. I have no problem, getting used to a normal life in Korea, but this time is totally different. So every time I wake up in the morning, I was like, oh my God, what on earth do I have to do today? This kind of things. And even in my dream, I dreamt of last night seeing sea turtles. Do you know what sea turtles are?
Sure.
So there are a lot of sea turtles points around the beach in Bali, specifically Gili Island or something. So when you swim around that area, you can literally see or even swim with a lot of sea turtles, and you couldn't imagine how giant or huge they were. They're really big. The first time I came across the sea turtle, I didn't think that is the turtle. I thought that was kind of big fish, but it turned out that was a turtle. So that was actually one of the very memorable moments that I had. And I'm just really sad for the fact that I can't really swim anytime I want with those turtle friends in Korea. Very sad.
You were snorkeling or you were diving?
I did both of them. And I shouldn't miss mentioning one guy that I met when my wife and I went to a kind of luxurious swimming pool just one day. And, because my job is teaching English, and, all that we've been doing so far is all about English. And then sometimes I've been really eager to talk to someone in English there, because apparently there are a lot of travelers who, for me, look like just Western guys. So I can't really tell where they come from judging by their looks. But anyway, I went to a swimming pool and then I swam with my wife, holding beers on our hands. And then just next to me, there was one guy who looked kind of bored. So I mustered up courage and then I tried to talk to him. And it turned out he was a British guy, against some expectation, because doesn't look like a British guy. Of course, I told him about you. So I told him, oh my God, it was such a coincidence, because my English tutor was British as well. And then he was also surprised, and it also turned out he had been to Korea as well. And what really blew me out, surprised me, was I introduced my wife to him, and I explained what my wife is doing to make a living, and then I mentioned the name of her bank that she's working for, IBK, and then of course I tried to explain what IBK means, because I didn't think that he had any clue about what that is. But surprisingly, he knew what IBK was, which is not really famous in other countries, because he happens to be working for Bank of America in Britain. That's why he knows well about IBK.
Right, it's his industry.
Yeah, so although we spoke for like less than 10 minutes, it was super fun. It was super impressive enough to, that moment, play in my mind very vividly. So I told him, oh my God, you are literally the second British guy that I knew so far. So yeah, that really reminded me of you, and then the time we spent together, because it kind of paid off, because I didn't have any problem talking with them in English, in British English possibly.
Great.
So yeah, that was very nice. Very, very nice.
It sounds good. Yeah. It was easy making small talk. You didn't feel uncomfortable?
So talking to someone at first felt very challenging, because even in Korea or even in Bali, talking to strangers would be very, very challenging, because in Korea, nobody does kind of small talk with strangers. But once we start talking, I didn't feel any uncomfortable. I'm even more motivated to learn English. Much harder, much more passionately. And what else? And I'm just glad that I could interact with many people there. I mean, not only locals who are Indonesians, staying there, working there, but also other travelers. My wife kind of pushed me or encouraged me very hard to talk to someone. Like she was like, don't even think about coming back to me until you give it a shot to talking to someone in English, because your work is literally about English.
Sure.
But I feel very grateful for my wife. So it's the first time I tried to talk to someone, very hard, but from the next time, it felt just a little bit anxious, but not that difficult.
Sure, you get used to it quickly, right?
Yes.
Once you give it a go, it doesn't seem scary.
I could not have enjoyed that much if I hadn't been able to speak English, not super fluently, but to the point that where I didn't have so much problem communicating in English. I spent most of the time there with my wife, but at the same time, when we went out, when we went to a restaurant, went to a hotel, both of me and my wife tried to talk to anyone in English because they are basically very friendly, super fun, super happy. And even have confessed to my wife that traveling to Bali is, honestly speaking, 2 times, 3 times, 5 times more fun, more fabulous than our honeymoon trip to America and Mexico. And I'm not really exaggerating a little bit here. That's truly just a fact. So I suggest I insist that you have to travel to Bali as your second trip. After the trip to Japan.
Some of my students, when they travel, they seem to miss Korean food a lot. They crave Korean food as they're traveling, and some even take certain home comforts with them. Did you enjoy the food?
Yeah, sure.
Did you miss
100%.
Korean food? Not at all?
No, not at all.
Not at all?
So my wife said that you have been perfectly localized. Do you use that word, localized?
You could say that, sure.
You don't seem to have any problem digesting Indonesian food, Indonesian's vibe, and talking to Indonesians, whatever. It just shows how happy I was there. 8 days, 9 days into Bali trip, I started feeling anxious, worried, concerned with the thought of going back to Korea and, going back to just normal. But it already happened. I should get used to it. Yeah, let's use the word that you taught me the other day. I'm rolling with the punches.
Right. Sure.
Can I use it here in this context?
Yeah. It wouldn't be as special if it lasted forever. So the fact that it's temporary makes it special.
Yeah. Could I get some more water?
Sure.
It's kind of hot. What I remember as well at the Bali was some England guys were riding motorcycles on the road, shouting England, England.
Right.
Probably because they are supporting, England in Euro 24.
Yeah.
And I thought England won the championship because they were shouting England riding motorcycles. But it's a shame that England lost the last game.
Sure, but it was always a long shot to beat Spain. Spain were the best team and they deserved to win.
Yeah.